there is a big four of thrash metal, you know. But when people talk about the big four of metalcore, they always name you Charles Fall, like you being one of the pioneers. How do you feel about that?
For us, it's really cool to kind of be associated with that. But it's also strange because we've always considered ourselves, more of just a straightforward metal band, but we definitely had hardcore roots. So, and we know that at that time in the, early 2000s that, the idea of metalcore with bands like us and Killswitch Engage and Lamb of God kind of came along and just kind of put things in a, slightly different direction. So to kind of be put with those bands as well as that era and just kind of shining a little bit of light on the U.S. Metal scene is something we're very proud of.
Oh, great. Well, Far From the Sky, it was produced by your longtime friend Adam from Killswitch Engage. Would you say he has something to do on how the sound came out in the album, or he just produced it and that's all?
He definitely, had an impact. We had him involved very early on when we were recording demos. He was hearing everything, and he came out to do some pre-production, so he was very, familiar with the material and was
Right.
able to kind of put his twist on it. Whether it was simple things like vocal harmonies or little guitar overdubs, or if it was from like changing the structure slightly. It's always great to have that extra set of ears that's outside of the band that can, give an opinion that's not biased by, being too close to the material. So he really was a big part of why this record sounds the way it does, and I think it was kind of the perfect choice for us at this point because not only is he familiar with us as a band, he is just had such a great ear for tones and just really understood exactly what we were trying to do. So it was really a perfect working relationship.
Okay. Well, this is your seventh album so far. Was there a point when you were recording this album in the studio that you realized, like, this sound too much like something I have recorded in the past, like a deja vu thing, or that never happened to you?
We didn't really come across anything too much like that. You do want to avoid, kind of repeating a lot of the same ideas, but you don't want to leave, kind of the sound you've always created. So I think that's what's difficult for bands as your career goes on is finding, kind of new ways to express the ideas that you've always wanted to get across. And with this record, I think we actually pushed into some new ground. With songs like Nothing Remains are probably really more on the rock and roll side of anything we've ever done. But then a song like the title track, Fire From the Sky, is a brutal death metal. So I think we were able to kind of really push ourselves in all the directions that we've kind of toyed with throughout the years and come up with some new stuff and just really tried not to write part two of any of the former records. So,
Oh,
and I think we accomplished that. But there was never a moment where we're like, oh no, we already did that.
okay. Well, the lyrics and even the cover artwork of this new album make us see an apocalyptic world, almost in ruins. Right now, here in Spain, we're living at terrible times, man, and people are rioting right now in Madrid because of this shitty government. Well, is the world really that bad? How is for you, from your perspective?
Right now it seems like there's just a lot of upheaval and unrest in the world. Whether it's political, social, economic, it's really a dark time. And also, even it seems like the natural disasters are starting to mirror the kind of upheaval that's already like around us, which scares you a little bit. Unfortunately, that's really what dominated the lyrics for this record because that's just the reality of where we're at. Things are just as screwed up here politically and economically as they are around the rest of the world. And it just seems like a time of where people are just kind of almost at a breaking point. So I know there's a lot of, kind of apocalyptic theories and prophecies. And I don't know if any of those will come true, but regardless of that, it's definitely a time of change and unrest in the world.
Oh, yes. Okay. Well, Brian, and for you personally, what will be the dream come true tour? Who will you take with you on your bus to play with you every night?
Oh man, for me, it would probably be Iron Maiden and Testament. Those are two of my favorite bands of all time growing up. And we were lucky enough to do an Ozfest tour with Iron Maiden, but we still haven't gotten the tour with Testament. So that would be my dream tour to go out with Iron Maiden and Testament every night.
Right. Have you heard the last Testament album?
Oh, it's amazing. It's so good to hear them kind of like writing music again with Alex, and just Chuck's voice sounds better than ever. It's a great record. It's great to see a lot of the thrash bands I grew up on, whether it's Testament or the new Anthrax is also incredible. It's great to see these bands putting out great records. Overkill's new record was great, so it shows you that those bands still have a lot to offer musically, and a lot more to say.
Okay, well, just to finish this interview, man, not having a haircut since 1993. Seriously, is that true?
Yeah, it's been since '93, so yeah, it's been about 19 years now, I guess, since I cut my hair.
How do you deal with that every tour? It must be a nightmare.
It's easy. I don't have to do anything. It just kind of does this thing behind me, and I usually forget it's even there. But honestly, to tell you the truth, the only thing that's tough is when I wash it, it takes forever to dry. So, but yeah. Besides that, it's low maintenance, and I just tie it up and let it do its thing.
Okay, well, just one last question. Well, do you think that Shadows Fall now, with this album, Flying from the Sky, and the previous ones, has found their sound? Like, this is like the band is gonna sound from now on? Or do you think things can change?
There'll definitely be slight changes, but I think we're getting closer and closer to the sound we always imagined when we started the band. Our original vision was to combine, the melodic ideas with the really heavy and death metal riffs, and I think we've also brought in new elements to that throughout the year. So I think we're getting closer and closer with each record. But you never want to stay satisfied that you found the magic sound. You always want to kind of keep pushing and adding new things. So yeah, I believe we've created a great groundwork and bedrock of our sound, but I think it'll always kind of constantly evolve a little bit.
Oh, that's great. Well, Ryan, thank you so much for your time, man. Hope to see you playing.